Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Global Issues on Al Hikmah TV 24/7 online. Once more, it is indeed a pleasure to have with us in Al Hikmah office Sister Halima Gibson. Welcome to the show, Sister.
Alhamdulillah. Pleasure to be back.
To let our guests know, Sister Halima, a very well-educated sister, I must say, in the spiritual field, and that is so interesting in today's time. Sister Halima has 25 years of experience with a massage license. She has a lot of experience in spirituality and spiritual healing. She has been around with a lot of people in all different walks of life. She comes from New Jersey, am I correct? Mm-hmm. And presently resides in Florida. So stay tuned. We're going to hear a lot from Sister Halima Gibson. She was on our show previously, and we requested her to come back on global issues so we can talk a little bit about spiritual healing, natural healing. And we thought that this is indeed a global issue. It's an issue that is very much realistic in today's time. So stay tuned to hear what Sister Gibson has to tell us.
Al Hikmah Dawah Service is now offering a special Dubai and Umrah package in December 2019. A 10-day trip from December 9th to December 19th, 2019. Average cost is $3,000. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. For more details, you can contact Al Hikmah Dawah Services at 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
All praises are due to Allahu Allah. All praises are due to Allahu Allah. Allahu 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 Allah. Allahu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. If you would like to dedicate copies of one of these publications as Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous blessings for your parents or dear ones who have passed away, or fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah, please give us a call so we can place your names on these dedicated publications. You can call us at 954-986-0158, or you can also visit us at www.alhikmat.com.
Allah is the creator of different faces. Allah is the creator of all races. Allahu, 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 Allah.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Global Issues on Al Hikmah TV 24/7 online. Once more, it is indeed a pleasure to have with us in Al Hikmah office Sister Halima Gibson. Welcome to the show, Sister.
Alhamdulillah. Pleasure to be back.
To let our guests know, Sister Halima, a very well-educated sister, I must say, in the spiritual field, and that is so interesting in today's time. Sister Halima has 25 years of experience with a massage license. She has a lot of experience in spirituality and spiritual healing. She has been around with a lot of people in all different walks of life. She comes from New Jersey, am I correct? Mm-hmm. And presently resides in Florida. So stay tuned. We're going to hear a lot from Sister Halima Gibson. She was on our show previously, and we requested her to come back on global issues so we can talk a little bit about spiritual healing, natural healing. And we thought that this is indeed a global issue. It's an issue that is very much realistic in today's time. So stay tuned to hear what Sister Gibson has to tell us. So once more, welcome to the show, Sister.
Alhamdulillah. Nice to be
Beautiful.
back.
Good. So we spoke about your coming into Islam, your motivation into coming into Islam, and speaking about your background and what motivated you to come into Islam, etc. We ended up talking about your Sufism experience, your spiritual healing, and natural healing experience, teachings, and learnings. So what do you have to share with us and our audience, who are very worldwide, very international audience, very interfaith? What would you like to tell our audience specifically to do with maybe spiritual healing?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be back with you,
Yes.
Shaikh Shafayat. Basically, what I would share, one of the most important things about healing is connection with God. Divine power, spirit, Allah, Hashem, Adonai, our creator, whatever it is that feels right for their hearts. And that is really the biggest thing, is about being able to be connected to something bigger than yourself. And to be able to, the difference that I was taught in Sufism was the difference between a temporary healing and a more permanent healing is working with the issues of your heart, working with the wounds and the places where we thought that we were separate from God, and working with that, and from that place being able to go deeper into where that really came from. And most of the time, a lot has happened either from our lineages, and one of the beautiful things is that what we were taught was that when you work with healing, you're not only doing healing for yourself, but you're also working with 7 generations forward and 7 generations back. So when you do your work, you do your healing work, you're making a difference for your generation and past generations.
So do you do spiritual healing with non-Muslims also?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Muslims and non-Muslims?
Yes, yes. You know, you work with people to where they're at. That's one of the things that I learned, is that you don't give meat to babies.
Okay.
So you
like
kind
that.
of work with people, you meet them where
I like
they're
that.
at.
You do not give meat
No.
to babies.
You can try, but
I
they'll
like
choke.
that. Yes.
You know?
Because they are not yet ready
Right.
to chew meat.
Right.
They don't even have the teeth to chew
Right.
the meat.
Right. Right.
Good.
So one of the beautiful things that subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted me and blessed me with is after I traveled in my many years, 5+ years in the healing school and working with the students, etc., actually got the guidance to pursue also Chinese medicine. So that has been very helpful, and my guide has, worked with, he's got books, beautiful books on healing and all kinds of methods from the Ayurvedic, from the Chinese. I mean, everybody was doing these things, the Japanese, the Middle East, everybody was doing these things at the same time. So it's kind of hard to say who started what. Everyone was doing these different things, and because of trading and traveling, they've learned each other's methods.
So together with spiritual healing, we have some natural foods, fruits, vegetables, etc. that are being used. Could you share an example with a non-Muslim patient that come to you
Okay.
with one, for example, some special problem, and how you go about doing it?
Okay,
or
well,
what you
basically, yeah, basically what I do, and I was actually taught this from the Chinese perspective, is to sit down with somebody and to really, so in Chinese medicine, they talk about the situation between the mother and the father is really key. So from the moment of conception, when the egg meets the sperm, that actually has something to do with your predisposition. It doesn't mean that you have to adopt it, and if you have a predisposition, so we get into conversations about, is there cancer in the family, is there diabetes, or what, like to call them instead of diseases, what's the word? Opportunities or challenges. Scary labels. That's what I had. Somebody had taught me about that scary labels, because they don't have to be a death sentence.
Right.
So anyway, so you get this, so you get an idea of where they came from, and we also talk about, we get into their relationship. We get into a little bit of the psychology and, who's who in the family and what the pecking order is and things like that. So you get an idea. But most importantly, I ask them to sit with what is it that they really want for themselves? What do they want to receive from this session? What do they really want most in their heart? They may say that they want to, get a really great job, but what they really want is a beloved, is a relationship.
Right.
So I help them to the degree of what their heart is really crying for and needing.
Interesting. But do they have a problem with you being Muslim and dealing on this spiritual healing?
Actually, I really have not been very fortunate. Because I've had many tools in my toolbox, I really haven't had a lot of dissension when it comes to, I feel uncomfortable because you're a Muslim, because I really speak to their heart. And when you speak to someone's heart, it kind of bypasses all of that, the way we look, the way we dress. And I really am committed to them having a breakthrough just in being in that session, if it's possible.
Yeah. Because a person's heart is really very universal.
Yeah, it speaks a language that our English, our whatever language just doesn't translate. It's something
it's the
you
brain.
feel.
It's the brain that starts limiting
right.
all the different boundaries. Well,
yes.
no, well here, well there.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's like
in the balance.
Yes, exactly. They talk about your mind being in your belly. In Chinese medicine, they talk about here's your spirit, and here is your mind with all the emotions where most of the organs are, and then from your belly down is the physical. So if the spirit and the physical were left alone, the mind did its own thing, we'd be very, very happy. It's the mind that gets in the way sometimes. It makes us crazy.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
And it limits resources.
Yes.
And availability of resources.
Yes. So what I have learned and what I teach my students and clients that come to me and patients is about bringing this. It's beautiful. We have been brought up with beautiful, beautiful, beautiful minds that create all kinds of things. But if you bring this into this, and you're surrendered, Rumi talks about being in surrender with your mind into your heart, and then from here it's a different projection. So it's almost like shining this camera, this light that's in front of me, and it's actually the camera lens is flipped to here. So the whole vantage point is from this place. and the world takes on a different view. It's almost like taking off, the rose-colored glasses and then taking them off and being able to see the world for the first time. It's like when we had black and white TV and then all of a sudden it became Technicolor.
So, I mean, there's so many things to talk about: spiritual healing, natural healing, that you are into. Maybe could you share with our audience an example of a spiritual healing that you would have used from the Quran? A verse, a surah, and for what, etc.
Alhamdulillah. So we were taught that even just the Fatiha, even just saying those 7 phrases.
Surah Fatiha.
Surah Fatiha.
The first chapter of the Quran.
Yes. And we were taught that it was the opening, and that it actually helps to open up your soul. So even just by saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, you could say that over and over again into in a healing session into somebody's heart, and that will affect change.
Wow.
And Iyaka na'budu, Iyaka nasta'in, you can say that over and over again. He alone do we worship, He alone do we ask for help. And that will make change. Just like when Tawbah, when you say Astaghfirullah al-Azim, you're saying, I ask for forgiveness from Lord Almighty. And you do that again and again. And then there are stages. Actually, even Ho'oponopono, if you're familiar with in the Hawaiian tradition, they talk about, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Well, if you break it down, Astaghfirullah al-Azim, and you keep doing that, you're actually traveling through those different layers of being sorry, feeling remorse, please forgive me, asking, subhanahu wa ta'ala for help and forgiveness, allowing the forgiveness to come in, and then being grateful.
Wow.
And saying, I love you. And actually what I have noticed is that a lot of healing out there is really great. But if you don't get to the place where you feel grateful for the event that happened, and the lesson that's being learned and the hidden blessings behind it, you're not really finished with something. So that's why we walk around with these issues and burdens on our back, because we haven't gotten to the place of gratitude.
No, you're right. Make a lot of sense. Wow. What other surah? Well, before I ask you that, in our conversation on the show, your journey to Islam, you mentioned that you were involved in spiritual learning, Sufism, before even accepting Islam. So were you into Quranic spiritual healing before accepting Islam?
Well, actually, we were taught from the get-go about prophetic medicine. And prophetic medicine is all about being able to use the prayers from, then the chapters and the ayats from the Quran, and using it in a particular way for healing. There's a beautiful...
So I want to repeat that. So before you became a Muslim, you were already involved in Quranic spiritual healing.
Yes.
Wow.
That was
and you
what
had
was
believed
taught.
in it.
Yes.
You had accepted it.
Well, I can tell you that brought me to the school that I went to, the Healing School, the University of Spiritual Healing and Sufism, because I actually had a healing session with one of my friends right after Hurricane Irma. Which is how I got to healing school in the first place, because it was a prophetic healing, and I realized that it was really great to, I was either going to do one of two things. I was either going to put up a shingle and put myself out there as, an independent massage therapist with my own office and, like I said, shingle on the door, or I was going to go to healing school. And my friend didn't say anything at the time, because there's a certain place of allowing it to unfold. It's not like giving advice. It's not like, in you go to a counselor and they ask you what to do and they give you advice. It's about bringing that light and shining it back to you. So you actually learn how to feel and be able to connect, make your own connection with divine power, God, Spirit, Allah. So once that light is shining inside, you start to make your own, you start to connect more deeply with your own guidance and your own intuition.
That's
So
interesting.
basically, so she didn't give me advice. However, inside she was thinking to herself that, yes, it would be great to, put your shingle up and say you're a massage therapist and have an office and everything else. However, the idea of going to healing school for, from 1 to 3 years, now it's even 4 years program for a master's, that would be more beneficial in the long run. But she did not tell me that. I found that out for myself.
Wow.
And 10 days later, I was signed up and I was on my way to California.
Interesting.
And that's the other thing too. And I can share this with your viewers, that when you feel you are guided, and you know this from your own, that you have no idea. I had no idea how I was going to get to school. Like I had mentioned, that I mentioned it to my beloved husband at the time, and I told him I wanted to go to healing school, and he believed that it was only 1 year. He didn't hear that it was a 3-year program. You do a year at a time. And then even with my dad, this was fairly new, and I told him I was going to healing school, and he said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, I'm learning how to become a medical intuitive." And he said to me, "What is that?" I said, "Well, you can look it up." And he did. There were 4 at the time. So he at least had some kind of reference of what it was that I was actually embarking on.
Interesting. So what are some of the other surahs? Just 1 or 2 other names that works for other things.
So, how we say the qul's before we go to bed. Using them over and over again in particular places. Like you might say...
the 4 quls.
Yes, you say the 4 qul's. You might say the Fatiha in your heart, and then you would say something, or at the top of your head, and then you would say the Surah Ikhlas at your neck, and then you would say something else at your forehead. You might say Falak or Nas. You would say maybe Nas. Nas at the top of your head, since it's for the mind. Surah Al-Nas is more for the mind. They say that Surah Falak is more for the people, for the outside people, tying of knots. And
seeking refuge in Allah from outside people.
Yes.
Evil of other people.
Yes.
Envy of other people.
Yes.
Jealousy of other people.
Yes. That's a protection.
Okay.
Yes. And Surah Nas is protection from your own mind and your own thoughts. And also Ayat al-Kursi is very, very good. It's one of my favorites, actually, for grounding. So sometimes if you feel like you're kind of, spinning out there, or, excuse me, astaghfirullah, sometimes you are really excited and you're not really fully in your body, because you're like swirling with all this stuff, which is really great. So it's helpful to be grounded and centered in your body. So even just laying on the ground or on the grass and saying Ayat al-Kursi is very, very helpful, because nature, it's natural to be in that place. Just like when you put your head on the ground in prostration, you are humbled and you are touching the ground.
So you recommend these surahs to people for certain sort of problems and issues that they have. So
Issues
a
and
person is just
illnesses.
losing it, cannot get hold of themselves, a little beyond normal. Ayatul Kursi keeps them down.
Yes. Yes, as well as
Yeah,
A'udhu
puts
billahi
them
minash
back on
shaitani
track.
rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim.
Yes. Interesting. Well, you know what? I'd like to talk to you about what went on in this course at the University of Spiritual Healing. You spoke about Quranic healings, natural healing. What you guys did at the university? What were some of the things that you were taught at the university? So when we come back, we got to go on a short break. Already we have been there talking for over 25 minutes. Oh yes, time just goes.
Ready?
Yeah, because it's so interesting, and
Yeah,
I'm sure that
I
our
love it.
viewers out there are fascinated with this, because everybody out there got these problems.
Yeah.
Hence, we have this show on global issues. It's a global issue. People got spiritual problems, they got mental problems, they got physical problems, you know, all sort of problems, social
Heart
issues,
problems.
heart problems. So, the bottom line is we are flooded with all these sort of different medications out there, which are necessary, of course,
They had their place.
and they have their place. I like that. But I think people got to understand the spiritual healing,
Yeah.
the natural foods that God has designed for us.
Yes. Yes.
Allah is our Khalik,
Yes.
Allah is our creator,
Yes.
and Allah has designed the best form
Yes.
of cure for human beings.
Yes.
And definitely, before these sort of mechanical medications, and I want to use the word mechanical, even though it's medical.
Yeah, I know. And the funny thing is, they come from a plant base.
Yeah, that's
Once
why I
upon a
call it
time.
mechanical. You know, it's all machinery, it's
Yeah.
all mechanical. Well, it's there, it does it fulfills its purpose. I don't want our medical doctors out there, our nurses listening and criticizing. I'm saying it
Right.
serves its purpose.
Right.
But before all of this, the thousands and thousands of years ago, people used spiritual medicine,
Yes.
spiritual healing. People use natural herbs, foods, some of the natural foods. And I see you got those books there. I'd like you to share some of the information. Like that book on the top. What is the name of that book?
The Gift of Healing.
The Gift of Healing.
Yeah, this is a beautiful book by my guide. It's one of the last books by Sidi Al Muhammad Al Jamal Al Rafai.
So this tells you of some of the Quranic chapters that you can use for spiritual
Yes.
healing.
Yes, as well as some of the foods
And
that
some
are
of the
helpful.
foods, because I see a honeybee there on the cover.
Oh yes, honey
As-
is amazing.
Excellent. Some of the different kind of fruits and foods and vegetables that you can use
Yep.
for different sicknesses and
Yep.
problems. So when we come back, I would really appreciate if you can share some of this information
Sure.
with our
inshallah.
viewers. So thank you for tuning on and viewing Al Hikmah TV, global issues on Al Hikmah TV 24/7 online. And those of you who have just tuned in, we are talking to Sister Halima Gibson, a very spiritual minded person with a lot of spiritual experience, spiritual healing, etc. And that's her profession. That's what she is all into. So when we come back after the short break, we'll continue on this discussion, inshallah.
Al Hikmah Dawah Service is now offering a special Dubai and Umrah package in December 2019. A 10-day trip from December 9th to December 19th, 2019. Average cost is $3,000. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. For more details, you can contact Al Hikmah Dawah Services at 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
When we educate the world, ignorant Muslims as well as non-Muslims, about Islam, the message of the Qur'an, the lifestyle of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, then those ignorant people and those people with hate out there, we may not be able to convince everyone, but inshallah, bi'idhnillah, we will be able to convince most of them.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the believers in the mutual kindness, compassion and sympathy are just like one body. When any part of the body suffers, the whole body feels pain.
If we don't wake up and spread this message of Islam and get people to understand the true message of the Quran and the true life pattern and conduct of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people will have this sort of hate against us. The world has 1.5 billion Muslims, beautiful masjids. Muslims got everything, but yet you got a lot of haters, and you got a man shooting people on March 15th in New Zealand. These buildings and these schools did not stop that. We got to spread the message to eradicate that hate and that misunderstanding against Islam and Muslims in the world. The beautiful buildings won't do that.
Allah gives hikmah, wisdom, to whomsoever He wills. And whomsoever is given wisdom is certainly given a lot of good. Only the people of understanding will benefit from the reminder. Tune in to Al-Hikmah TV for khutbahs, lectures, and Islamic reminders. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Global Issues on Al-Hikmah TV 24/7 online. Again, it's a pleasure to have with us in Al-Hikmah studio Sister Halima Gibson. Those of you who have just tuned in, we have been speaking about Sister Halima's experience in the spiritual world, spiritual healing, natural healing. So we are going to continue that conversation.
Yeah, I like to say that it's more like integrative or complementary medicine, not to separate it, because, you know, Allah made everything.
Of course.
So He made modern medicine, He made complementary medicine, and, you know, this has all been through the dawn of time, beginning of time. People have been using
that's
healing.
a very powerful point.
Yes, and not only that, but they've also, you know, been doing exercises. They've been doing movements and breath, and you know, even salat has its place and reasons physically why it's beneficial. Just like in yoga, where you do the salutations and the sun, and you bow, and you know, each one of them has a purpose for strengthening the heart or strengthening the liver.
And they all got a physical combination.
Yes.
Integrated in the system.
Yes, the same thing with Chinese medicine.
And that's what natural foods are all about.
Yes.
So then you turn me into another point. What are some of the natural foods that you
So-
recommend to your patients?
So basically, you know, food, one of the two biggest things that we were taught that heals and helps support anything, because it's, you know, mind, body, spirit. So you're doing your spiritual healing, you're doing your mental and your physical, but now the foods supporting that. Basically, so black seed oil, or black seed powder, and honey.
Or the black seed directly itself,
Yes,
right?
yes, sativa nagila is the technical name.
Okay. Chewing the black seed.
No, you can do it. So you can mix it with honey, and you could put it on whole grain bread, or you could do what I do with the rice cakes. You can do, you make a paste, or you can take the oil, and in some things you can ingest it, some things you apply it. You know, there are different things.
Right.
Different ways you can make a poultice. Like I had an issue one time with some kind of fungus, and I put honey on a Band-Aid, and I put it around the toe, and a couple of days later it was gone.
Wow.
Yeah, and you use black seed oil for healing of any kind of open wounds or sores, and you put a Band-Aid over it. So these
you
things
can
are.
eat it.
Yeah, you can eat it, you can drink it, you can apply it,
Yes.
you can inhale it.
I like that. That's one of the things you can use it for everything.
Yes.
You see, it's not everything you can drink
Right,
or you can use internally.
right.
Some medications are only for external use.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
the black seed
And honey.
is one of those things that it's
Yes.
multi-purpose.
Yeah, it's actually a hadith.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, it's a
Subhanallah.
hadith that says that, you know, black seed and honey can cure everything except death.
Yep. Yes, black seed is a cure for everything but death.
Another one is dates. Dates are amazing. They have an amazing component of many, many trace minerals and nutrients. I think they say to take like 5 or 7 a day. And they are a great whole food, as well as they're very nurturing and nourishing during pregnancy. before, during, and after. And also for an energy, pick me up is very helpful. I was taught that goat milk is very helpful, goat kefir, for cancer.
So these are some of the foods that you recommend to your patients?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goat milk.
Yes. Fibroids.
Is goat milk easily available here in
Yeah,
America?
actually, it's much easier. And not only that, but goat yogurt is also popular. You can get it at Trader Joe's,
Are you
among
kidding?
other things.
What is it good for?
Well,
Cancer, you said? Prevention?
yes. Actually, one of the things that when my husband was sick, he has passed just about a year ago. May God forgive his sins, and may he have his place in Jannah, make his grave spacious. We did all kinds of alternative things along with modern medicine, with chemo, and unfortunately he has passed. However, I do believe that the combination, so flaxseed is something that is recommended, along with, what do they call it? They called it, it was some kind of cottage cheese concoction. It's actually from something called the Budwig diet, which has been around for a long time as well. For helping with cancer specifically, to shrink the cells. Because I had heard that goat milk and goat kefir were very helpful, we substituted that instead of I forget what it's called. But anyway, that was, quark. It's called quark. And that's been around for a long time too. But anyway, so the goat kefir was actually, it would make like an emollient, and you would put the flaxseed and you would drink it. It's actually flaxseed oil. He didn't do well with the flax seeds, but people use flaxseed as well.
Interesting. And tell us a little bit about your school. That spiritual healing school. What goes on there? What do they teach?
They teach you how to love. They teach you, one of the things that I experienced in my first week of school, I had never felt and experienced. I mean, my grandparents were amazing. My parents were amazing. Alhamdulillah, I came from a beautiful family.
So what motivated you to get into spiritual healing school?
Well, as I had shared with you prior, basically it was a traveling from the physical, actually, with the massage, opening up a world of energy, and that there's something beyond this table, that there's something above and below. And actually, you're limited if you just work with the table. But if you work above it, and you work below it, and you work underneath it, and you work around it, then there's a lot more opportunity for healing for the physical, mental, and energetic levels, and the soul level. And that's what I was talking about before with, actually getting your lessons. What is God making? Not why is this happening? A lot of people, why me? Why is this happening? Oh, why me? This isn't fair. If you get to what is he making out of it, that shifts the whole perspective. And in healing school, that was what I had shared with you about working with the wounds of the heart. It's about the lessons and the opportunities and what God is making out of this situation. And we were taught that it is not just what's in front of you, and that we don't know. We're not always privy to that information. That is for God, and for it to be unveiled when the timing is right.
So they get you into this spiritual consciousness.
About love. It's all about love. It's about being able to give and receive love. And that is what's missing. I believe that if
so
people...
you get that love for God.
Yes.
That spiritual love for God.
Yes. And then when you love God and you love your connection and you feel your connection, you love everything. You love the plants and the trees, and you start to hear. Rumi talks about, hearing, and so does my guide, that, to be the hands of Allah, to be the feet of Allah, to be the arms, and to be able to hear Allah whispering in the wind, the trees, the birds, they're singing
Because
Allah.
spiritually, God loves us all.
Yes.
It is we who have disconnected.
Yes.
So what we're really doing, we're connecting back to God.
Yes.
The love that He gives to us,
Yes.
we have turned away.
Yes.
So we connect in that.
Yes.
And we connect to His love that He has always have
Yes.
and always had for us, and He has for us.
Yes.
That love now, when it gets into us, we see everything out of love.
Yes, from that
Oh.
vantage point that I had shared. So it's like the heart. You have your heart here, and it turns. Qalb is heart in Arabic, and it turns either towards God or away from God. And when you recognize that you're turning away and you're feeling separate, you feel pain, you feel suffering. I believe that we're really not meant to suffer. That is man's creation.
When you lose love,
Yes.
you feel a sense of suffering.
Yes, because you
But you
feel
don't even know it's
disconnected.
because of the love that you have lost.
Yes. Sometimes that's true.
You know, once I was given a sermon, and I mentioned to them about the love Bluetooth. You know, in your car, you got Bluetooth.
Yes.
And when you turn on the Bluetooth,
Yes.
and you turn on the Bluetooth in your car, you are able to connect to other devices that are
Yes.
available around
Yes.
you.
And if the Bluetooth isn't working, you're SOL, right?
Right. But if the other devices around you are
follow.
not turned on, there is no connection.
That's right.
It's available,
That's right.
but you need to turn it on.
That's right.
And then the person in the passenger in the car turns on his Bluetooth on his cellular, okay? And it connects to the Bluetooth of the car.
That's
And
right.
there you're
Everything's connected. That's
So-
right.
So the love is there.
Yes. It's always there and it's always available.
It's there, but you got to turn it on. If it's off, and
Yes.
you know, it's like Wi-Fi.
Yes.
If it's off on your phone,
Yes.
even though it's around in the hotel,
Yes.
in the building,
Yes.
around you,
Yes.
it's available.
Always.
That's like God's, I mean, it's
Always.
no way to God's love, but it's an example.
Yes.
God's love is there. You got to turn it on in your device. And the device is inside of us.
Yes, and it is in the other thing too. It's in the asking that we receive, right? Even Jesus said that. That may peace and blessings be upon him.
Amen.
That we don't ask. We make assumptions. We act like we know, and that's making shirk. That's actually turning away from God. That's actually acting self-righteous and acting as we know, like Iblis. You know, and then the shaitan gets in there and he wreaks havoc in that. That's his field ground. That's his play area. That's his place of vulnerability in us that catches us,
Interesting.
that turns us away.
Yes. So, in this University of Spiritual Healing, you were first taught
Love.
love. That spiritual love for God. And then that love comes physically
Yes.
into your connection with other people.
Yes.
What are some of the other things they taught you all in the
Well, they
Spiritual
taught us.
Healing University?
Yeah. So.
I know some people are probably wondering, where is this university, right? So are we going to tell them where is this?
Well,
Or-
actually, it is the main mother center is in Pope Valley, which is called the Land, which is a very, very special holy place.
in the
in
Holy
Cali-
Land.
It's 45 miles north of Napa. However, the school is being held in a hotel. In
Okay.
right now, it is being held in Florida.
Good. But the origin of this spiritual healing came from Jerusalem.
Yes,
The teacher.
yes,
The
from
whole
our sheikh.
foundation.
Yes,
The sheikh,
Yes.
the founder,
Yes.
the teacher
yes,
from the Holy Land
yes,
in Jerusalem.
yes,
Excellent.
yes. So
Excellent.
all of these remedies and things that I've learned come from Jerusalem.
So what else did you learn in the Spiritual Healing Institute?
So we basically learned how to live in the life of the prophets. You know, we learned how they walked, what they did. So another thing, very simple, is we were taught about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 1/3 air. You have to allow space. 1/3 air, 1/3 water, and 1/3 food. And if you do that, and don't take my word for it, try it for yourself, but if you do that, then that allows you not to overindulge, because that's another method of that sneaky whisperer getting into our bellies. It's a very big area and arena for separation, is when we overstuff ourselves.
So if you
It's a way of distraction.
If you balance your diet, what we're saying here, spiritually, if you balance your diet physically, now this is interesting. If you balance your diet physically by having 1/3 air, 1/3 water, 1/3 food, solid, it helps to balance your mind. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, it
balance
balances
your thinking and make you a balanced
It creates
person.
harmony.
Yeah.
It creates harmony. In Chinese medicine, you talk about having
because your
all of
intake
the
is balanced.
yes,
So therefore your output will be balanced.
yes, and the air gives you time to, in the same way with your food, how you say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim before you eat, before you do anything, to be able to set yourself up into that place of connection and being able to receive whatever subhanahu wa ta'ala is
because
giving.
if you put only food in your stomach and you overeat, you're going to get sloppy
Yeah.
and sleepy.
Right, right, right. And those are some of the blameworthy qualities. Talk about the
course.
praiseworthy and the blameworthy qualities, and being lazy, and
Then your brain won't think
you get foggy.
as it's supposed to think. That's one of the benefit of fasting.
Yes,
So when you fast, you're able to think.
that's a spiritual practice in itself.
Yeah, you're able to meditate.
Yes.
You're able to ponder.
Yes.
Your brain is alert.
Yes, the Prophet talks about fasting the night of Monday, which is Sunday night, and the night of Friday, which is Thursday night.
Yeah, and you just sleep based on what is necessary for you. That's interesting. When you're fasting, you sleep, but that sleep is just what is necessary for the body.
Exactly.
Now, there may be some people that sleep a lot
Yes.
when they fast, but do you know what? It's the whole, if you are hungry and you are fasting and you sleep, what I have noticed in my little experience, your sleep will be sleep, but it's not as strong as a sleep on a full stomach. It's like your body is sleeping, but your mind is alert.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, the more that you pray, the more you meditate, it's said the less you need sleep.
The
And
body
also,
sleeps.
the intermittent fasting, is becoming popular. It's been done for centuries.
Yeah.
We've been doing it forever.
Yeah. So you were saying that that's one of the things that you were taught in the university. Your intake, air, 1/3 water, 1/3 food. Interesting, and it helps you in your spiritual and physical balance.
Yes, and by doing prayers and practices, taking your mind off of everyday things, it allows more space for that connection to deepen.
Listen, time just goes, This spiritual healing, as we mentioned, and you were telling me before the show, you do a lot of lectures on Sufism.
Yeah, actually, one of the things was to be a messenger, to be able to share the peace and the love and the mercy and the justice of freedom.
And that's what we're doing here on Al-Hikmat.
Exactly.
Al-Hikmat TV, on this show, Global Issues. We want to spread this message.
Right.
We want your message to go out there. It's a message of humanity. It's a necessity in nowadays time.
Yes.
So people can call Al-Hikmat office to contact you if they want you to do a lecture on spiritual healing and on Sufism, etc.
Yeah, because I see it as a bridge. I feel that it is a place of connection that goes beyond when you speak to that heart. It's really pretty simple. When you speak to that heart and that connection that came beyond name and form, our soul and our spirit, when you speak to that place, it knows no gender or color. So when you share about the message of the prophets, may peace and blessings be upon them all, they each came for their own time and their own purpose. And if we follow which is what I learned in school basically, was to be able to follow what each one carried and learn lessons from them and be able to take that into our modern everyday lives. Of course, you know, to live like as if, you know, to the best of our ability.
Right.
And asking subhanahu wa ta'ala for help along the way.
Interesting. So we got about a minute or two again to wind up. You know, we've gone another 20 minutes talking here after the short break. Anything else you would like to share in a couple of seconds to our viewers worldwide on something spiritual, something from the healing of natural foods from the books, so whatever you would like to share in a couple of seconds? So in your closing remarks, what would you like to tell our audience about spiritual healing and natural foods?
Basically, I would say that it is really all about balance in life. Connecting the heart, the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit. And when you have that connection to higher power spirit, everything else falls in line. Your relationship with your beloved, your relationship with your children, your relationship to your community, your relationship with nature, everything else, and your relationship with plants and animals.
Wow.
That it's a chain, and it all follows down. And if you just start with deepening that connection, everything else falls into place. And that's what I'm here for. To whatever degree people allow it in, to make a difference in their lives. That's actually, that's all I do.
And the bottom line is the spiritual connection with God helps you to have that balance in
everything,
life.
Yes.
If a person tries to develop that balance in life without the spiritual connection to God,
then they're
you cannot
off.
get it.
They're off. Their meter is...
You're totally off, because you are saying that you are setting this balance, and the balance really is from God.
Right.
And when you connect to God,
right.
When you connect to God, His spiritual guidance to you helps you to know how to balance.
Yes.
Otherwise, you won't know how to balance. You will think that you're balancing properly.
Exactly.
But who understands what is the right balance? Only God.
That's right.
That's interesting. So thank you very much for the beautiful comments, the beautiful teachings, the beautiful remarks. And again, it's a pleasure to have had with us in Al Hikmat studio Sister Halima Gibson, a sister who is very much into Sufism, spiritual healing, natural foods. Those of you who would like to connect with her and get in contact with her, feel free to call us at Al Hikmat office. You just got to Google Al Hikmat, look at the ads, get the numbers, and contact Al Hikmat office, and we'll put you on to Sister Halima Gibson. She'll be willing to talk to you. And
I offer a free consultation to find out what it is that I can do to support them.
Excellent.
In their
and
journey.
She offers a free consultation, conversation on the phone, whatever, in person, so that she can know how she can go about
supporting their connection with Allah.
Supporting your connection and your need. So once more, thank you very much for viewing Global Issues on Al Hikmat TV, and it was a pleasure to have with us in Al Hikmat studio Sister Halima Gibson. Thank you again, sister.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you all for viewing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Since 9/11, there has been a great fear of Islam.
We need Muslims, I always say, to speak up in this country.
Much of our Islamic community is perceived to be insular.
Most Americans have never met a Muslim or are not aware of having met a Muslim.
Most people don't have enough education in terms of what the entirety of Islam represents.
It's very easy to hate someone or to put stereotypes on people that you've never interacted with.
But do you think if Muslims were more integrated in society, in America, in the United States of America, then there would have been less anti-Muslim scenario?
I think it's even more important that our clergy speak up. They are, after all, the moral force in our community.
You see, the Islam that is celebrated is one which opens its doors.
Having this type of dialogue in terms of a community outreach, or
something that Muslims have to do is go out just like you do and inviting non-Muslims to the iftar. And you do a lot of speaking to mixed groups.
We have to change the language from us versus them to a language of we.
I believe that if we can stand together against the forces of hatred and be unified in this country, then we can do wonderful things.
Bringing us together to enhance the beauty of humankind.
I think religion can be such a powerful force for unity.
Of course.
We've made it into this powerful force for disunity.
Keep trying to understand each other and care for each other and keep building a world community, because I believe that's what God wants for us all.
And I'm in their mosques and they're in my temple, and it's been a phenomenal experience. I've had a very warm and welcoming experience from all the brothers and sisters in the community.
That every human being is either your brother in faith or brother in humanity.
In Arabic, the word is lita'arafu, so that you will learn to understand one another.
And this is the truth of what it should be. You see, this is why I am so pleased to come here today, to support the work of Al-Hikmat.
The kind of intolerance and the violence that we see across the globe is rooted in ignorance, which we can overcome by teaching.
Yes.
Also rooted in fear, which we can overcome by experiencing, where we can actually live in each other's presence. It's rooted in this myopic kind of my way only, rather than this understanding that maybe all of us have more in common, and at the core of who we are is this truly global family that we belong to.
I'd like to say what a joy and pleasure it is to have Shaikh Shafayat as my friend, as my teacher, as my co-worker in the vineyard of Allah, God, where we work together to make this world a better place, to do God's work, to do the work which we are commanded to do as human beings.
All praises are due to Allahu Allah. All praises are due to Allahu Allah. Allahu 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 Allah. Allahu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. If you would like to dedicate copies of one of these publications as Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous blessings for your parents or dear ones who have passed away, or fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah, please give us a call so we can place your names on these dedicated publications. You can call us at 954-986-0158, or you can also visit us at www.alhikmat.com.
Allah is the creator of different faces. Allah is the creator of all races. Allahu, 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 Allah.
Royal Bengal Trading, importer, exporter, wholesaler of Bangladeshi Indo-Pak groceries and spices. We specialize in various authentic Indian masalas, juices, flours, rices, and spices. We offer exclusive brands as Ocean Pearl, Shan, National, Tilda, Himani, and many, many more. We're located at 36B, Caroni Savannah Road, Charlieville, Chaguanas, Trinidad and Tobago. You can call us at 473-4676 or call 476-3117. Email us at wahabdk@gmail.com. Now open Sajida exclusive for all of your Islamic and casual wear. We carry a large selection of silk route and al-karam gowns, scarves, hijabs, hijab pins, and many other accessories. We have exclusive Swarovski gold-filled and sterling silver jewelry. We are located in store 143, Caroni Savannah Road, Charlieville, Chaguanas, located on the opposite side of TNT Chicken Hut. For more info, you can call 328-6682 or 295-5400.
Fens, the single largest specialty retailer of residential and office furniture, consumer electronics, home appliances, and household items in Trinidad and Tobago. At Fens, we offer a large selection of high-quality products, honest and reliable service. We are passionate about serving you, and we're proud of the standard of excellence upheld by our knowledgeable staff, friendly delivery teams, and dedicated customer care associates. Visit Fens First, your friendly furniture, appliance, and electronic dealer since 1960.
Al-Hikmat Dawah Service is now offering a special Dubai and Umrah package in December 2019. A 10-day trip from December 9th to December 19th, 2019. Average cost is $3,000. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. For more details, you can contact Al-Hikmat Dawah Services at 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
Truly he is the one, he has no father or son.